Right then, welcome back to the channel. Manchester United fell to a 2-1 loss against Brighton last weekend, but we are looking to bounce back with 3 points on the cards before the international break. Now, we have got a decent home record against Liverpool of late, which obviously can't be said for the record at Anfield, but we have won 2 and drawn 1 of the last 3 meetings that we've actually had at home. Liverpool made a decent start under Arne Slot so far, winning their first 2 games 2-0. And United have been a little bit more solid defensively, a little bit better on the transition. And for this game against Liverpool, we need to be up for it. They did fail to beat us on all 3 occasions last season, and you would expect that they're thinking, that's not going to happen this time around. So you got to be ready for it. You got to be up for it. But I feel quietly confident going into this one, which I haven't felt in a long time. Now, Arne Slot, obviously it's our first time looking at an Arne Slot team. How do they play? Well, they are quite possession-based in the way that they play. They've got patient build-up from the back, and they do like to circulate the ball quite intelligently across the pitch. The players will be encouraged to support each other. They like to go quite short in tight spaces, and they seem to have quite a structure, a bit of positional discipline to sort of sustain possession before they're allowed to have a little bit more freedom once it gets further up top. Now, Arne Slot's playing style is fluid within the system, if that makes sense, but it does allow for interchanges and for rotations, but there is a very distinct sort of shape to it. Now, from goal kicks, you will see him set up the team in a 3-3-2-3. That does include the goalkeeper before everyone starts commenting, with the goalkeeper sort of getting in between the 2 centre-halves. You'll then see the fullbacks and the 6 creating a 3, and then you'll see the attacking midfielders try to occupy a little bit of free space and drop, which hopefully gives them, or ideally for them, gives them numerical superiority and allows them to beat the press. Slot seems to be using Trent in that inverted role in the build-up, creating more options in the centre and less space in between the players, and he seems to like it because it prioritises playing through the middle. He needs one player to go high, one player to go wide to sort of pull apart that back line, while the rest try to create an overload in midfield area. That builds pretty good conditions and connections through the centre of the pitch, and it allows more players to press if they lose the ball during that phase of play. Another purpose for keeping most of the players central is it lessens the space in between them. It shortens the length of the passes, which makes them statistically a little bit more likely to succeed. And it also means that if opposition players do get on the ball, they've got less time to push up and press, and they've got less opportunities to try and win the ball back. So it does end up with Liverpool having a little bit more time on the ball and a little bit more control. In the opposition half, he goes with the 2-3-5. And Slot's then going to position his wingers high and wide, which obviously tries to pull apart the opposition back line. You've seen United doing this in a similar way. United are going for a 3-2 rather than a 2-3, but this is how they're trying to line up. What he tries to do is have his centre forward then try and occupy both centre halves at times. So you'll see him shuttling between the 2, trying to get their attention a little bit, pulling them a little bit together, while the wingers or the attacking midfielders are going to try and pull apart the 2 fullbacks away from the centre halves, giving you a nice big gap in the sort of half spaces, which you will then look to attack. Usually using the number 8s to get into those kind of spaces with runs from midfield. A massive aspect of Slot's tactics is how high the backline stays, especially when they have settled final third possession. That helps having the counter press because then they get close to the centre, and having more players close to the centre who can win the ball back makes it difficult for the opposition to recycle possession if they win it. It is susceptible a little bit to very fast counters, to very fast wingers, but there's a little bit of give and take in all aspects of football tactics. That's the one area that he may get caught out with. Now, he places a lot of value on being aggressive without the ball, and he wants his team to go man for man, and that intensity can sometimes lead in players missing tackles, but that's where he hopes to have that extra man in defence that can alleviate that a little bit. He wants his team to go with that level of intensity, and I think that's why he's probably been an obvious appointment following Jurgen Klopp. It seems like Klopp is still there in spirit a little bit with the evolution of what Slot's bringing rather than the total tactical change that you've seen from when someone's had one manager and gone to another. The star man is obviously Mo Salah. 2 goals, 1 assist already in the first 2 games. He is a goal threat at all times, no matter how he is playing. He does look sharper. This season he looks pretty good. He's quite underrated from a creative point as well, because and I think that's probably because he draws numbers, which means that someone else gets left in space. But he doesn't need to beat someone to impact the game. He is still capable of doing that, but he doesn't actually need to do that as often anymore. You know what he represents. You know how good he is. Just don't give him space. And if you can keep him quiet, you've got half a chance. For United, the starting 11 that I would go with, or I expect Ten Hag to go with, would be Onana in net, a back four consisting of Mazraoui. I think he will start De Ligt in this one alongside Martinez with Dalot at fullback. I think just for the pace that you're going to need against the Liverpool forward line. Midfield, I expect it to be Casemiro and Mainu with Bruno in the 10. And I think we will see a first start for Joshua Zirkzee with Ahmad Ashewin on the right. I really don't know what he's going to do on the left. Rashford was poor in the last game, but I think him being a bit closer, with him changing, if he changes Maguire out, I think he goes with Rashford. If he doesn't change Maguire out, I think he goes with Garnacho. I think he probably wants as many people who've been involved in as much preseason as possible going into this game. So I think there's a massive decision to be made there, Rashford or Garnacho. And then Maguire and De Ligt also, I think it's an easier decision, but I think he'll only change one of them in this game. Now, for United, the match winners, Bruno Fernandes, the work rate is going to be essential, and he needs to exploit the area that they are weakest because they still don't have a natural number 6. If he takes up clever positions, he can have a massive impact on this game. And in games where we will be countering at times, I think we're also going to get on the ball at times as well, but we will be countering at times. Bruno is essential to that because he's the first man that generally gets on the ball and gets on the turn. So we look to try and run off him and the passes that he can make. So he needs to be at his best to make sure that the forwards are away and running. And there's going to be a lot of emphasis on the wingers in this game because Joshua Zirkzee does not lead the line. He's going to come and occupy little bits of space. So if you've got Bruno occupying a little bit of space on one side and Zirkzee offering a little bit of space to get involved with the playmaking on the other side, you require the wingers to be as high and as wide as possible to drag the Liverpool defence out there. We are partnered with Hollywoodbets for this season to bring you some really good betting opportunities for this upcoming game and all of our games this season. As our trusted partner, Hollywoodbets has got a really good offer that could make the game even more thrilling. This is my pick for this massive game against Liverpool. I am going Manchester United to win. No shocks there, I am sure, but this is what I'm going with. I'm going with Bruno Fernandes to get on the score sheet, and I am going for over 2.5 goals in the match. And that has been boosted from 8-1 to 10-1. So if you place £10 bet on, you get £110 back. To claim the bet boost, it's very simple. All you got to do is click the link in the description. If you are new to Hollywoodbets, just create an account and take advantage of this awesome new customer offer. Link is in the description. Odds are subject to change. You must be at least 18 years old to participate. Remember, football can be unpredictable, especially with the current state of Manchester United and a game against Liverpool for sure. But this bet is just meant to enhance your enjoyment of the game. It's, of course, no guaranteed win. For more information on responsible gaming, please check thegambleaware.org. And how do you beat them? Well, you got to exploit Trent defensively and make him defend. If he gets on the ball, he is a threat, but he's also a weakness in defense. So this is why that left wing decision is massive. You know, he's in a system that suits him on the ball. He can get on the ball and be creative, but he is still the most vulnerable and suspect defender on the pitch. Make him work defensively, and there will be cracks and mistakes that appear in that Liverpool team. Minimize his energy going forward, make him work, and try and exploit him when he switches off defensively. Secondly, you've got to be smooth on the transition. You need to make the most out of the counter-attacks and transition well. If we're smooth on the transition, we can hurt them. But being sloppy and seeing the ball come back quickly the other way, Liverpool are littered with players that can score goals, and you don't want to allow them any at all at Old Trafford. Anyway, let me know your score predictions in the comments. And are you confident for this one? Because I feel more confident for this one than I did for any of the ones last season. And we did all right last season, didn't we? See you after the game. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.